Hello, I am so excited that you are showing interest in my Hope for Alzheimer's group program. And before we get going, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Robbie Parker. I am a Bredesen Protocol 2.0 health coach, and I help people implement the Bredesen Protocol. I work with people with been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. I work with people that are coming to me wanting to prevent Alzheimer's. And I work with caregivers, those who are needing more support so they can support their loved ones. So I work with all kinds of people. This is my passion. And you heard me say that I help people implement the program. You will often hear me say, you can know all that you know. You can have read all of Dr. Bredesen's books. You may have the best doctor in the country, but if you don't do it, it doesn't work. Remember, you are the secret sauce to this program. It's the work that you put in, and making these changes and making this a lifestyle is hard, and you need support. And so that's why I've come up with my group program. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give you a sneak peek of what it would be like to be part of the group. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen here, and I am going to pull up a little taste of what it would be like. These are the slides that I will be using, some of the slides that I'll be using in our group program. I have made slides because I know some of you need to see things. You're a more visual learner. Some of us are more audible learners, right? So I've made these so that everybody can learn together. So let's take a look. This is what we're going to be learning. It'll be 12 weeks. We meet every week. Now, why did I do that? A lot of group programs, they meet once a month or every 2 weeks or something like that. Well, I wanted to make it every week for 12 weeks because here's the thing. There's something magical about 12 weeks. There's something that sticks in our brains that if we keep at something continuously for 12 weeks, that's when we really are going to form those habits. So that's why I'm really asking you for a commitment for 12 weeks. Now, remember, I will be recording our session. So if there are times when you just won't be able to make it, you will get a recording so that you can watch it. So we're going to be looking at what we call the Bredesen 7. And Dr. Bredesen has come up with what we call the B7, and it's the different strategies of the protocol. So we'll be looking at, for the first 4 weeks of our time together, we'll be looking at the KetoFlex 12-3 diet. That's a mild keto diet with fasting. I've made that 4 weeks because this is usually where most people have the hardest time making these changes. So we're going to take our time. We're going to go through it and get that groundwork done. Then we're going to move on to exercise. We're going to look at restorative sleep, stress management, brain stimulation, detoxification, and supplements. So let's take a look. Before we even jump into that, though, I'm going to just take a moment to remind you what another thing that we're going to be looking at is our mindset. This is so important. We have to be ready to make these changes. And so we'll be talking about things like, what is your why? Why do you want to do this, right? You may want to be around for your grandchildren. A lot of my clients tell me that they don't want to be a burden to their children. Other people come to me, they're fearful of the future and of maybe getting this disease if they don't have it, or if they do have it, they want to keep being part of society and contributing. So there's so many things. So we have to find out deep down what is going to keep us going, because this lifestyle is it's something that we're going to do for the rest of our lives. It's not just something that we're going to do for a little bit, like a diet, right? So this transformation will require a lot of effort on your part, depending upon what stage you're coming into the program and your willingness to make those helpful lifestyle changes. Remember, you are the secret sauce. And making these changes isn't easy, but I'm here. I'm here to help you succeed, and we'll all be here to help each other succeed. That's the beauty of a group. So remember, all during these 12 weeks, you can reset, you can refocus, you can readjust, you can restart as many times as you need to, but you're never going to give up. And we truly, truly can be among the first to reverse cognitive decline. We are really pioneers in the fight for our lives. So we need to be motivated by one another and be around like-minded people. And because we know what it's like, you go to your doctor and he has nothing to offer you. He says, go home, get your affairs in order. And sometimes when we're doing this, we don't get support from family or friends. So it's so nice to have this community of we're doing this together. So KetoFlex 12-3 diet, like I said, we will stay here for 4 weeks and really dig in. We're going to want to get you creating ketones. And then once we get you creating ketones, we're going to get you metabolically flexible. You'll be able to use fat and carbohydrates for fuel, and it will just, and all this may not make sense to you right now, but you're going to learn all of this in those 4 weeks. So we're going to look at the KetoFlex 12-3 diet, which you will need to fast and you will need exercise to create those ketones. So that's the way that you create ketones on the Bredesen Protocol. The KetoFlex 12-3 diet, fasting, and exercise. And we're going to be looking at all of that, and I will walk you through it step by step. We're going to be talking about those just say no foods, right? We'll be a start to eliminating those inflammatory foods. Dr. Bredesen calls them the no foods. Things like sugar, simple carbohydrates, things like bread, crackers, cookies, grains, dairy, right? Because we don't want to continue on these things as we start implementing the KetoFlex 12-3 and bringing in those lots of nice healthy fats, because that's like putting fuel on a fire and that'll cause more inflammation. So this will be one of the first steps, and don't let this scare you away. Remember, we'll all be going through this together, and there's something about, it's not easy getting rid of these, but when you're working with other people that are going through the same things, it makes it that much easier, right? And you may have already been doing this diet and you're just struggling. You're like, I've tried this so many times and I just can't get rid of these foods. Well, remember, this is a process, and I will teach you how to do this, and it'll be great working together with other people. And then we'll look at the brain food pyramid. Now, the brain food pyramid is when we get into the nutritional part of the program. Yes, we want to produce ketones, but most importantly, we want to be feeding our bodies good food, nutritious foods, foods that have lots of phytochemicals and phytonutrients and all of these things that are going to feed our bodies and feed our brains. So we're going to be going through the brain food pyramid. So we'll be looking at things like fasting. Yes, that's the biggest part of the protocol of the pyramid, which I thought was kind of mean of Dr. Bredesen to do that. But next we'll look at those non-starchy vegetables and healthy fats. That's the mainstay of the diet. We'll look at gut health. Gut health is so important. So we'll look at prebiotic, resistant starches, and probiotics, those different foods that are going to feed our gut and help keep it healthy. We'll look at animal protein and fruit. We'll look at indulgences, right? And as you see that pyramid, it's getting smaller, smaller, and smaller. So if you're confused about all the information out there on what to eat, I'm going to take you through each one of the pyramids, and we're going to learn exactly what to eat. Many of my clients is like, oh, are you going to send me recipes and what to eat? And I tell them, you know what, I'd rather teach you what foods to eat. That way you can take any recipe and change it to fit you and what you like. And then we'll go in and we'll start after those 4 weeks, we'll bring in all the other strategies. So we'll look at exercise, right? Out of all of the strategies, exercise has the most scientific studies done, right? And we know that there's nothing coming down the pike as far as anything from FDA approved medications or anything like that, that even comes close to demonstrating the improvements we've seen with daily exercise. And so think about it. You'll be with this group for 12 weeks. We'll be holding each other accountable, getting that routine of that exercise every week, and we'll meet and we'll be holding each other accountable, getting ideas of different ways to exercise, what works, what didn't work. You'll get ideas from your members. It's awesome. And then we'll talk about restorative sleep. Restorative sleep, Dr. Bredesen thought that, or thinks that sleep is so important. He has made it the bedrock of the KetoFlex 12-3 lifestyle, right? I mean, think about it. It would be really hard to do this protocol without good sleep. So when we look at our diet, fasting, and exercise, and restorative sleep, that is the key to metabolic health. So we will be looking at sleep, different ways that you can improve your sleep. We'll look at why is sleep important, and we'll learn all of these things. And then we'll go into stress management. Stress is super important. One of the leading causes of most diseases that we even have. Stress, we can't prevent it, right? It's part of our lives. And stressors can come anywhere from family, from work demands, even rude drivers in front of us, right? But it's the way that we respond to these situations that determines its ultimate effect it has on our bodies. And that's what we're going to talk about when we're looking at stress management. You might be surprised to learn that stress can actually have positive short-term effects on our body and not cause us harm. So when we think of things even like fasting, that's a stressor on our body, but it's a good stressor, right? And so, but remember, it's not those kind of stresses, those short-term stressors. It's that chronic, unresolved, or severe stress that increases our risk for cognitive decline. I can't tell you how many clients I have that come to me, and it was after a high stress, something happened in their life that triggered their cognitive issues. And, or if they come under a lot of stress, we see their cognitive issues getting worse. So this is a really important part of the protocol that we need to understand. And so we talk about it, and we talk about ways to mitigate stress. Remember, the good news is you are in control. It's not the stress that's going to kill us. It's our response to it. So you can learn to change that response. And then we'll go into brain stimulation. This is actually one of my favorites, and most of my members are quite surprised that this ends up being one of their favorite sessions. Brain stimulation, right? We used to think that once we lost brain function, it was irretrievable. We couldn't get it back. But now we're learning that our brains can continue to grow new neurons throughout our lives in response to social and mental stimuli, right? As well as healing from trauma or injury at every stage of life, including old age. So up until the day we die, our bodies are continuing to grow those new neurons. That's exciting news, right? Our brain's ability to grow and adapt is called neuroplasticity. So we're going to learn about that. And then we're going to learn about the different ways that we can stimulate our brains. And it's not about just games. There's a lot more that we can do. And then detoxification. This is a big one. And working with clients, I can tell you, I've worked with many, many, many clients that this has been a big issue and something we've had to work through. And so we will stay 2 sessions here at detoxification because it's that important. We will talk about dementogens. Dr. Bredesen has coined the term dementogens to refer to chemicals that are associated with dementia and likely to be contributing factors to Alzheimer's. So we'll look at things like mycotoxins, mold. We'll look at things like mercury. So that could be from those silver amalgams in our mouth, right? Or from eating too much fish that have mercury in it. There are so many different things that we will be looking at. Categories of Dementogens, as you can see, metals, right? Mercury, but there's not just mercury, there's lead, there's cadmium, right? There's arsenic, all kinds of things. And many of these we can see in the RECODE report. And you can get extra testing to see if you have any of these. Organic chemicals, these include pesticides, paint thinners, petroleum products. So we'll go through all of that and the ways that we can help ourselves to stay away from these things and not get overexposed to them. And then the biotoxins, such as mycotoxins. We'll look at the different testing. So for instance, for mold, the mycotoxins, we go to Great Plains Laboratory, is a company that Dr. Bredesen will often recommend. So we have the mycotox test that looks at mold. We have the GPL tox test that can look at all the toxins that you may be exposed to. They look at 173 different toxins. They have the OAT test, which is a wonderful test that shows all kinds of things. Mold maybe in your gut or colonizing there. So there's just all kinds of tests. For mercury, we'll go over the quicksilver tri-test and heavy metal test, which is a way to check for different mercury and heavy metals. And so there's lots of things that I'll be able to educate you on. And then supplements. We'll talk about supplements. Supplements are supplemental, but they're really important to the protocol, right? And it's important to understand that you need various supplements during this time, but it will evolve while you're on the protocol. So it's good to know what supplements that you can use. We'll look at the RECODE supplements. We'll look at other supplements that Dr. Bredesen recommends for optimal brain health. Depending on your starting place, you may initially need to use more supplements. As you improve your diet and you heal underlying insulin resistance and other potential contributors to cognitive decline, while focusing on your gut health, and your need for supplements may be dramatically reduced. So I help educate you on how to look at supplements and how to move forward. And then there's extra benefits to the group program. You will have a 20% off of supplements, RECODE supplements, and also my Elevate dispensary, where I give you a 20% off, and it will be a lifetime that you get those discounts. You get a one-on-one session with me. So you have some time to schedule an appointment with me, and we will have time together one-on-one. Another bonus this round that I've just started is I will be giving you a free month of my membership. So I have just started up a monthly membership. It's a monthly paid membership. So that way that my clients that are done working with me and they want that guidance, they want to be able to meet with me. So we do a Zoom every month where you can ask questions and talk amongst other people in the group. I send you a monthly teaching, weekly videos to get you motivated for your week, and other bonuses throughout the year. So you get a free month of that. Printable handouts to go along with each week's content. We will meet for a weekly Zoom session, so they will be live. We even have our own private Facebook group, so we can talk amongst ourselves and ask questions and motivate one another. And then at the end of each session, we'll talk about small steps that you can take. Remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about effort. And when you bring that effort every single day, that's where transformation happens. That's how change occurs, right? And so we're all at different places, and we're going to be encouraging one another, motivating one another, holding each other accountable to keep going. And so each week at the end, I'll give you some examples. What are some things that you can do this week? Or you can come up with your own small step. And for those that want to, you can even put it out there amongst a group. Okay, I'm going to do this, because there's something powerful in putting it out there, what you're going to do. And remember, our group, it's a no judgment zone. It's a place to feel safe and to grow and to get this protocol down and make it a lifestyle. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And there you go. So that's it. That's what it's going to be like to be part of the group. So I wanted to send this to you as a little taste in case you're thinking, I'm not sure. And I'm just going to say, remember, this is the fight of your life. If you have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's, time is of the essence. We all know that this is a progressive disease. It will continue to go forward. So you want to start now, and there's no better time than now, and to get in some kind of help, either my group, one-on-one coaching, if not me, somebody else. Just start and don't put it off. If you've been doing this protocol for a while and you're not seeing traction, or you're really struggling in some of the areas, invest in yourself. If you are a caregiver, you need help, you need support, invest, okay? All right, guys, and I am so excited to the possibility of meeting you and being with you for 12 weeks. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm here for you, and I will answer any questions you have. All right, we will talk later. Bye.